This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Wednesday, December 11th, 2024. I'm Marek Mazurek. Educational and business leaders in South Bend have witnessed a long, frustrating process to getting approval for a career center for students to take technical and career-focused courses. Over the summer, the South Bend School District nearly signed a lease to put the center in the Studebaker building, but that fell through at the 11th hour due to disagreements over who was responsible for certain renovations. The district now wants to put the center in an elementary school on the west side of South Bend. South Bend Regional Chamber of Commerce President Jeff Ray said employers he's talked to have worries if action doesn't pick up soon.
We're disappointed to hear several school board members still questioning the validity of such a center and whether we need it or not.
The Career Center is meant to attract students from all over St. Joseph County, and some have concerns about a center on the west side of South Bend being accessible for students in districts on the eastern edge of the county. Ray, however, feels the quality of the programming will determine whether the center is a success, not its location.
If it's attractive, it has the right course offerings, it has the latest state-of-the-art equipment, I think people are probably willing to go a little bit farther if they have it.
The center, as proposed, will cost a little over $10 million to build out. The school board is expected to vote on the proposal next week. South Carolina-based Nexus W2V this week announced it has secured financing for its planned $140 million Kingsbury Bioenergy Complex in LaPorte, and construction is ready to begin. The facility is designed to convert organic waste into renewable natural gas, as well as compost products and biochar, which is used to enhance the quality of degraded soils. When complete, the project is expected to create 35 jobs. Nexus W2V recently closed on a $75 million funding commitment from Orion Infrastructure Capital in New York. The facility will be located inside the Kingsbury Industrial Park in LaPorte. The company said the facility is expected to process 200 tons of organic waste into RNG and co-products each day. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
To succeed, you need to stay informed. You need to be engaged. And let's face it, you need to set yourself apart from the rest by connecting with a company that brings you the best. Because in today's environment, business is an ever-moving target, and we'll help you chase it. IBJ Media. The best of business is in us. Get started at ibjmedia.com/youngprofessional.
Albertsons is giving up on its merger with Kroger and is suing the grocery store chain, saying it didn't do enough to secure regulatory approval for the $24.6 billion agreement. The move comes the day after two judges halted the merger in separate court cases. U.S. District Judge Adrian Nelson issued a preliminary injunction blocking the merger Tuesday after holding a 3-week hearing in Portland, Oregon. An hour later, a judge in Seattle issued a permanent injunction barring the merger in Washington after concluding it would lessen competition in the state and violate consumer protection laws. Kroger and Albertsons in 2022 proposed what would be the largest grocery store merger in U.S. history. The companies claimed a merger would help them better compete with big retailers like Walmart, Costco, and Amazon. But the Federal Trade Commission sued to block the merger earlier this year, saying it would raise prices and lower workers' wages by eliminating competition. On Wednesday, Albertsons accused Kroger of breaching the merger agreement by refusing to divest the assets necessary for antitrust approval and ignoring regulators' feedback. A Carmel-based nonprofit organization that manages the power grid in Indiana and 14 other states is meeting this week to approve electric substation and transmission projects across the central U.S. worth nearly $22 billion. The board meetings of the Mid-Continent Independent System Operator include about $2.7 billion in projects wholly or partially located in Indiana, according to court filings. But approval of the projects comes less than a week after a federal judge issued an injunction against Indiana utility regulators, blocking them from giving first dibs to Indiana utilities. A U.S. District Judge on Friday ruled that the act signed into law by Governor Eric Holcomb last year, which gives local utilities the right of first refusal on such transmission projects, discriminates against interstate commerce. The controversial law was passed by close votes in each house of the legislature and was heavily supported by Indiana utilities, organized labor, manufacturers, and farmers who said it would keep local control of expensive, specialized construction projects. Opponents, however, said it could result in higher prices, stifle innovation, and lead to more control by monopoly utility companies. Music industry executive Andy Wilson is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast, hosted by Gary Dick, presented by PNC. A weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Marek Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.